But Richard, I know you yourself, you've led some very big integrated campaigns here in this particular market, pulling together different agencies from different disciplines. What have you sort of accounted as being some of the challenges or the great successes that can come from this kind of approach? And how often does it happen, you know, in terms of your experience, that you work in this kind of way?
I think the biggest challenge is ego.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's egos.
Mm-hmm.
That comes from well, who's in charge? And often you don't get anything done until someone decides who's in charge, which seems ludicrous. And then you have an ego conversation about whose idea it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have another conversation about, well, that's my area to execute. So I think that, for me anyway, that's the biggest barrier. And then normally that comes from people.
Mm-hmm.
And comes from the maturity or the experience to be able to let go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really the critical piece of successful integrated teams is the ability for each part of the team to let go and understand the expertise. So I think that's where I find the barriers. I think in terms of success stories, I think trust ultimately is what that engenders. And I think, yes, you need to understand the client position and obviously understand the client dynamics. But between each other, working in an integrated team, you need to believe that you're not trying to eat each other's lunch every single day. Because if you think you're trying to eat each other's lunch, you'll have just on the edges, you'll start nibbling away at pieces and pieces here, because you'll be defending your turf, even though you're doing it quietly. And that's when it'll fall over. So my experience has been success is based on mutual trust, which ultimately comes from putting your egos at the door when you walk into the room. Now, it's really easy to say and incredibly difficult to do. Part of my job now is Chief Integration Officer, which sounds like, frankly, is probably the worst title in the world, because it means I have to get people to play nicely together, which is kind of hard, right? And ultimately, I've been writing a paper on it at the moment, and it's come down to people. It's the only thing it comes down to, and it comes down to people wanting to.
Yeah.